by which scientist? Johansen. So factor term given by Mendel and gene term given by Johansen. Okay, means replace factor with gene by Johansen. So this is postulate 1. Postulate 2 was principle of dominance. Postulate 2 was principle of dominance. Postulate 3 was principle of segregation. Postulate 3, it is principle of segregation. Okay, postulate 3 is principle of segregation, and postulate 4 was principle of independent assortment. Okay, postulate 4. Principle of independent assortment. Okay, so these 4 postulate was given by Mendel. Okay, and currents, what has done, currents was there and the currents was rediscovered. We will see that. So currents, what does, he converted 2 postulates. He converted 2 postulates into law. Currents was there. Okay, so we have to know Karl Currents. This is the German scientist, Germany. Okay, so what he does, he converted 2 postulates. Converted 2 postulates. Okay, converted 2 postulates into law. Okay, into law, or we can say into Mendel's law. Mendel's laws. Okay, now we have to see that what are the characters were selected by Mendel and what was the dominant trait, what was the recessive trait. This you have to remember, that who has formulated the laws, Mendel laws. So that was Karl Kerens. Okay, now next we have to see characters of the garden pea. Okay, characters of the garden pea used by or picked by Mendel. Garden pea means Pisum sativum, their botanical name. Picked up by Mendel. Okay. Now, here one side characters were there. Characters. One side dominant trait. One side a recessive trait. As we already discussed, how many characters is there? 7 characters. Okay, so 7 dominant, 7 recessive, so 14. Okay, total how much? 14. Now we have to come on. First character is seed shape. First is seed shape. Okay, under seed shape, the dominant character was round. and the recessive trait was wrinkled. So dominant trait round and recessive trait wrinkled. Okay. Next is a seed color. Seed, this is first. Second is seed color. Okay. Now here seed color is yellow is dominant. Yellow dominant and green is recessive trait. Okay. Next is flower color. Flower color. So next trait is flower color. Here dominant was violet color. Dominant is violet and recessive is white. Okay. Next character is a pod shape. Pod shape. Okay. Now here pod shape means external part of the pea. Okay, external part. So that is full and constricted. So dominant is full and this was inflated. Okay, full and inflated, or it is also known as constricted. Okay, both is that, inflated or constricted. Okay, so now this is pod shape. Okay, after pod shape, next is pod color. Pod color. Here pod color, the dominant trait is green. Here you have to see seed color, yellow and green are just opposite. Here dominant trait is green and recessive trait is yellow. Okay, in pod color. Okay, next is flower position. Flower position. Okay, and flower position, dominant trait is axial and recessive trait is terminal. So here axial and here terminal. Okay, so this is sixth character, and last character is stem height. Stem height. Okay, so dominant is tall and recessive is dwarf. Okay, you have to see that what are the things we have to see. Seven characters are there and 14 traits are there. Okay, 14 traits are there. So first is seed shape, then seed color, then flower color, then pod shape, then pod color, then flower position, and then stem height. Okay, now was one scientist over there, that name is S. Blixt. This name you have to remember. One scientist is there, that name was S. Blixt. Okay, so this scientist done what? He gave detailed investigation. What he has done? He gave detailed investigation on pea plant. So detailed investigation on pea plant regarding characters. Regarding character, 7 characters we seen. Okay, regarding characters, and showed that and sowed location of, this you have to remember, okay, sowed location of Mendel's characters, Mendel's characters, and showed location of Mendel's characters on 4 different chromosomes. How much? On 4 different chromosomes. 4 different chromosomes, that is 1, 4, 5 and 7. That is 1, 4, 5 and 7. And this you have to remember, very, very important. What are the 4 different chromosome number that Mendel worked? Okay, so 7 characters that Mendel chosen was 1, 4, 5, 7. Okay, now we have to see which chromosome and what characters that chosen. So first we have to see chromosome 1. Chromosome 1. So on chromosome 1, flower color and seed color chosen by Mendel. What was that? Flower color and seed color. Okay. So chromosome 1, flower color and seed color. Chromosome number 4, maximum characters contained. Chromosome 4. What I told? Maximum character. So here is that flower position, pod shape, plant height. Flower position, pod shape and plant height, or that I told stem height. Okay, so these 3 where it is present, chromosome number 4. Next is chromosome number 5. Chromosome number 5. Here pod shape is there, here pod color is there. In 4 pod shape and in 5 pod color is there. And last chromosome number 7. Chromosome number 7. Here seed color is there, here seed shape is there. So this S. Blixt detailed investigation you have to remember. Okay, so chromosome number 1, chromosome number 4, chromosome number 5 and chromosome number 7. Okay, so 1, 4, 5, 7, this you have to remember. 1, 4, 5, 7. Sometime questions are asking, what do you mean by 1, 4, 5, 7? So 1, 4, 5, 7s are what? The chromosome number on which Mendel's characters picked up was present. Okay, now Mendel chosen this pea plant that has some scientific reason. What was the reason that we have to see now? Now we have to come on selection of pea plant. Okay, selection of pea plant. Now What is the reason behind this selection of pea plant? Okay, so number one reason. Okay, reason for selection. Okay, so number one reason is that pea has many distinct alternative traits. What is that? Pea has many distinct, you can see easily, distinct alternative traits. Garden pea has many distinct alternative traits. Okay, garden pea has many distinct alternative traits. Now, second important is lifespan of pea is short. Okay, so result can see easily within a shorter period of time. So lifespan of garden pea is short. Okay, it is short. Third is what? Flowers is what? Having the capacity of self pollination. Okay, so flower shows self pollination. Why? Because it is bisexual. Flowers shows self pollination. Okay, flower shows self pollination, and hence they are true breeding, and hence are true breeding. Okay, now next reason is what? It is easily, just remember what I told, it is easily artificially that self pollination is there. So emasculation, removal of anther, and bagging and rebagging is there. Okay, so it is easy to artificially cross pollinate. Okay, it is easy artificially, it is easy to artificially cross pollinate. Okay, it is easy to artificially cross pollinate the pea flowers. Okay, cross pollinate the pea flowers, their hybrids. Okay, cross pollinate the pea flowers, their hybrids, and all the product was fertile. So result is very easy, and produced products, or we can say progeny, was fertile. Okay, and that's why. Now next is, it is taking very less area for experiment. Okay, it took very less area for experiments. This Mendel's was experimented their pea plant observations in church backside was their garden, small garden was there. Okay, so it took a very small area for experimental purpose. Okay, Now, on the basis of all these postulates, some rules came. Okay, in that postulates that generated rules known as law of heredity. So now we have to discuss laws of heredity. Laws of heredity. Okay, all the rules that came, that was laws of heredity. Okay, now what happens if one gene inherited, one gene inherited, so that gives law. If two genes simultaneously inherited, that gives another law. Okay, so first we will see inheritance of one gene. Inheritance of one gene. Okay, what is that? Inheritance of one gene. Under inheritance of one gene, two laws were there. One is a law of dominance, another is law of segregation or purity of gametes. Okay, so first is law of dominance, and another one is law of segregation or purity of gametes. Segregation or purity of gametes. So these two laws came from inheritance of one gene. Next is inheritance of two gene. Okay. Inheritance of two gene. Okay, and this inheritance of two gene gave law of independent assortment. That was third law. Law of independent assortment. Okay, so this gives what? Third law. And these three law known as which one? These three. One is this, one is this, and one is this. So these are known as Mendel laws. Mendel's laws of inheritance. This is known as what? Mendel's laws of inheritance. So one by one we have to discuss. First we have to discuss inheritance of one gene. Under that we have to see law of dominance. Inheritance of one gene. Okay, and under this we have to see, first is law of dominance. Law of dominance. Now, what do you mean by law of dominance? Okay, when a cross is made between homozygous condition, okay, homozygous, that is a pure line individuals. Okay, then what happens? The characters which is shown in first generation, that is known as F1 generation, known as dominant. Okay, and this postulates represent what? Law of dominance. So always the first generation showing dominating characters, that belongs to law of dominance. So what we can say, when a cross is made between two homozygous individuals, when a cross is made between two. Now here homozygous condition is came. So homozygous we already discussed. So what we have to tell, when a cross is made between two homozygous means pure line individuals, or we can say pure line individuals. Okay, so what will happen? Considering contrasting trait, the traits we have already discussed. Okay, characters traits we discussed. So considering considering contrasting traits, okay, that different variant which can be seen. So considering contrasting trait of simple character, what characters were there? Okay, of simple character. Okay, then what will happen? Then trait that appear in F1 hybrid. What I am telling, then trait which appear in F1 means first generation. So trait that trait, okay, which appear in F1 hybrid. And we already discussed what is that F1 hybrid, that will called what? Dominant. Okay, so F1 hybrid is called dominant, and other is called recessive. Okay, other is called recessive, and that showing their characters, expressing their character is known as dominant. Okay, so this law states what? When whenever any character controlled by two factors. So in short, what we can say, any character which is controlled by two traits, any character which is controlled by two traits or factors or genes, okay, two traits, factors or genes occurring in pair, always it is in pair, occurring in pair, okay, occurring in pair, then what happens? Which express itself is dominant. Okay, occurring in pair, which express itself is dominant, and which is hidden is recessive. So this law only tells that in first generation always dominating characters will be shown, will be expressed, okay, will be expressed. Okay, so first we have to see by an experiment, then we'll go ahead. Now, for example, we are taking one character plant height, or we can say stem height. Okay. Now, pure line we have to take. So pure tall and pure dwarf, two plants are there. So pure tall and pure dwarf, or we can simply write dwarf. Okay. So pure tall means capital T, and small or dwarf means small t because it will be in pair. Okay. Now we have to see what are the gametes are there. Capital T gametes, here small t gametes. So gamete formation is process known as gametogenesis. What is that? Gametogenesis. So F1 generation, what will come? So cross will made. So one capital T, one small t. It is F1 generation, first generation or hybrid. F1 hybrid. Okay. Now this hybrid capital T small t is showing what? Always first generation showing dominating characters. Okay. So it is what? Tall. And tall is what? This is dominant and this is recessive. Okay, this is dominant and this is recessive. So which character came here? F1 generation, tall. Tall means dominant character, and this gives what? Law of dominance. Okay. Now, here some questions are coming, mathematical questions are there that asking in the medical exam that we have to see. First, as we seen, gametogenesis. Okay. So first we have to see gametogenesis. Now, how questions are coming? Like, first they are asking number of gametes. How many number of gametes are there? So formula is there. Number of gametes. Okay. So number of gametes is equal to 2 to the power n. Okay, what is that? 2 to the power n. This is the formula that you have to remember. For what purpose? If number of gametes asking, so to the power n, where n is what? Number of heterozygous condition. This is what? Heterozygous. One, two different is there. So where n equal to number of heterozygous. So how much number is there? Only one. Okay. So what will be the answer here? To the power 1. So 2. Okay. So number of gametes formula is to the power n. Okay. Now, some questions we will discuss, then we will understand it clearly. First question is that what will be the total number of gametes? I'm writing that. What will be the total number of gametes? What will be the total number of gametes produced by a plant? Produced by a plant. Okay. Having a genotype. Okay. Having genotype having genotype A, B, C, capital D, small d. Okay. Now options are there. First option is 8. Second option is there 27. Third option is there 16. And fourth option is there 64. So how we can solve that one? Try that. Now first we have to know that number of heterozygous. So solution is what? Here n, we have to first find what is n here, number of heterozygous. So we have to write that A